Antetokounmpo named to the All-NBA first team. It is the first time he's achieved this award. Was a unanimous selection. He joined some elite company in franchise history. The other three players to earn this: Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Sidney Moncrief, Marcus Johnson. Giannis setting career marks in points, rebounds, and assists. But tonight, all about pivotal Game 5, trying to move this team one game closer to the NBA Finals, a place they haven't been since the early 1970s. And Giannis, normally one of the first Bucks players out on the court. We haven't seen him yet. We have a couple Raptors players out here behind me, but no media availability. Head coach Mike Budenholzer wants this team focused. Again, they have lost 2 games in a row, and as for Giannis, he wants to have more fun. This team needs to have more fun. The home crowd will certainly help that, and they know that they need to be more focused than they have been and limit the turnovers. But we've got to talk really quickly about this award because it does carry significant emphasis on what could happen in the future. Giannis is eligible for an extension next summer of 2020. There's already talk of him signing a 5-year deal worth around $250 million, almost averaging 50 a season. And just to compare that to Aaron Rodgers, I know it's a different sport, but that deal he signed last August, making him the highest paid player ever in NFL history, that was about $30 million a season. This is talks of about 50 a season, which is just crazy. They're going to need a big performance from Giannis tonight. We're going to talk more X's and O's coming up a little bit later in the show. But for now, live from Pfizer Forum, I'm Josh Moser, Fox 11 Sports. Step aside and just set the scene for you here a little bit. We got DJ Wilson warming up, Sterling Brown on the other side, Kawhi Leonard on the other side. And these guys are going to be important because the bench has to play better. They were outscored by 25 points in Game 4, but consistency has been the key for this team. As John mentioned, 60 wins in the regular season. That was the most in the NBA. Obviously, the playoffs, it's different, but the good news, the 7-game series, now a 3-game series, and 2 of the next 3 right here in Milwaukee. You know what you're going to get from Giannis. Chris Middleton poured in 30 points in Game 4, but as we talked about, the bench has to play better. You need more from Malcolm Brogdon as well. Most importantly, this team is looking for Brook Lopez to have another big game. Remember, he dropped a career playoff high 29 to start the series.
You look at each game, it's been pretty different for both of the teams out there. You know, each game's been pretty different. We can't, look at the last game and be like, oh, it's going to be like that. We have to come out and be consistent, which we've done a good job all year of.
Still got a little bit of time here before tip-off, but a big night, a big moment, pivotal Game 5. The series tied at 2. A win moves them 1 game closer to the NBA Finals, a place that they haven't been since 1974. Live at Pfizer Forum, Josh Moser, Fox 11 Sports. Well, Mike, the energy inside this building was so big to start. You had David Bakhtiari chugging beers, passed it over to Aaron Rodgers, passed it back to David Bakhtiari, but this team falling flat in the fourth quarter. The big difference, Kawhi Leonard, 15 fourth-quarter points. He had a game-high 35, played 40 minutes, and at times he looked like he was out of breath, could barely walk, and all of a sudden he would can a 3 out of nowhere. They had no defensive answer for him all night, but the biggest difference in this game, of course, we talk about the turnover differential and missed free throws. It's what's plagued the Bucks in their 2 losses, and as you mentioned, Mike, it's now 3 losses in a row, and what that means overall is that they've lost home court. This was crucial. You had 3 final games, 2 of them right here inside Pfizer, and now they're going to have to go to Toronto on Saturday for a chance to come back Monday in Game 7. But this is just tough right now as the fans are starting to exit the building. It's hard to put this into words. You're up 14 points in the first quarter. You end the first quarter up 10. Pretty much lay a goose egg in that second quarter. But it was all results in a loss. So now this series shifts back to Toronto, 3-2 in favor of the Raptors. They've got a chance to clinch, and the Bucks are going to need to figure out this very quickly if they want to find themselves in the NBA Finals for the first time since 1974. We'll have much more reaction on Good Day Wisconsin and tomorrow. But for now, live at Pfizer Forum, I'm Josh Moser, Fox 11 Sports. Bucks carried a 3-point lead into the fourth quarter. They had all of Pfizer behind them, but they fall flat in the final 12 minutes. Thanks largely in part to Kawhi Leonard's 15 points. He had a game-high 35, and now this series shifts to Toronto with the Raptors leading 3-2.
Been a resilient group all year. We just need to think about going and winning 1 game, go to Toronto and get that. Talk about the character of the group and the toughness and competitiveness of the group. It's first to four. We got to go to Toronto and get a game, and I think the group will be ready. They'll fill their cup up and be ready to go.
Must win. Like everybody knows it. And we're just gonna go in there and try to do as much as we can do. Leave everything on the court. Make shots, play hard, give energy, and hopefully we can get a win. It's not just another game. We got to go in there and win, come back.
We've been resilient all year, and we're going to rely on each other and lean on each other as we've done all year, and go out and compete as hard as we can.
Game 6 tipping off in Toronto, 7:30 Saturday night. The Bucks will need to win that game to force a Game 7, which would take place right here on Memorial Day. Again, if they win that game, they will find themselves in the NBA Finals for the first time since 1974. But again, the Raptors, the first team to win a road game this series. The Bucks will now have to do the same. At Pfizer 4, Josh Moser, Fox 11 Sports.